Hey guys, the biggest asshole in the Assassin's Creed community here today, and welcome back to another video on Assassin's Creed, the Ezio collection. So today I'm going to be doing a nice little frame by frame kind of thing for you guys, because I thought I should actually go over what has changed in my opinion, and what looks good and what looks a lot better in terms of the Ezio collection, because people are fucking disappointed as shit. There's kind of like a huge line drawn. Some people are hyped as fuck and some people are disappointed as shit. I'm pretty hyped, not gonna lie. I'm pretty hyped for the Ezio collection because it's kind of bringing Ezio back to life and all this stuff, and obviously the Ezio trilogy is my favourite in the whole game, so it's gonna be fun. It's just gonna be fun regardless. But then again, there are certain parts of the trailer that don't look any different to the original Ezio trilogy, and there's a lot of things that disappointed me, but I'm still hyped as fuck, and there's also a lot of things that impressed me as well. So we're just gonna go completely frame by frame, so let's get right into this. So as you can see, it comes up with this. It's got some nice little clouds in the background, kind of reminiscent of the kind of original Assassin's Creed Brotherhood trailers and stuff like that, and just kind of the Ezio trilogy as a whole. No Animus to be noted. Nothing about the Animus has been included in the kind of the Ezio collection, all that stuff. So that probably means I don't think it will mean that there's no modern day. It doesn't make sense for them to do Revelations without the modern day, because Revelations ending has Ezio talking to Desmond, so it doesn't make sense for them not to put the modern day in it. Beforehand, I was kind of like, oh yeah, modern day is definitely not going to be in it. It's for sure not going to be in it. It's the Ezio collection. But then Revelations kind of it makes more sense for them to add the modern day in Revelations, and then they'd have to be consistent with the other two. But no Animus to be noted as of right now, but they never tend to really advertise the modern day a whole lot, but there's nothing really more I can say about it. It's just fucking clouds. This is the first little screenshot we get. So it's Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. Now I know other people have said this, but I can't tell a difference between this and the actual game. There's literally no difference at all in my opinion. I was watching James's video, and I know he can't tell the difference either. I'm pretty sure Ethan said on the stream yesterday, there's no noticeable difference here in terms of the graphics at all. I can't even see any improved textures, really. It looks exactly the same as I was playing Assassin's Creed Brotherhood on PC the other day, and there's not an awful lot there's nothing I can say that looks different about it at all. Nothing. So, okay, let me go back. You have here, which is a Romulus tomb. He's going to the armor of Romulus. Now, it seems a reoccurring thing that in Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, the graphics aren't awfully changed at all. Obviously, there's a bunch of textures that have been redone. It looks a lot cleaner, a lot nicer. The lighting is a lot better and stuff like that, but it doesn't look awfully different. It's a reoccurring theme with Assassin's Creed Brotherhood in this trailer. Brotherhood tends to not look awfully different to the original game, which I find a bit odd. But then again, Brotherhood still looks good, and there is those improved textures, and it'll probably look different when we actually get into playing the game. So obviously here we've got this. I'm pretty sure this might have been an actual clip from the original Brotherhood trailer. They might have reshot it. I actually don't know. But this was definitely in the original Brotherhood trailer. Yet again, I don't think these textures here on this rooftop garden have been changed at all. I don't really know, but his robes do look a bit better, and then the details on here look slightly better. I don't actually know, but it does look very high res. It does look high res. So we go to the next bit. This is definitely quite noticeable changes in terms of Ezio's armor and his robes as a whole. You can kind of see how the shadows look a lot better, and basically just everything about it, the lighting and how the shadows are on his face and in his hood look a lot better, and the colors look a lot better as well. I mean, you can see these little straps here. You can see the shadows that they cast. They look a lot better too. The fabric down here looks a lot more accurate to what real life would look. It looks better. The textures are better. But in terms of the environment he's standing in, I cannot see a difference to Rome. I cannot see a difference at all in terms of the the pillars and the rock. That looks like fucking shit there. The textures there are abysmal. There's been nothing done there. So I really don't know what they're doing, but you can definitely see a difference in Ezio's character model in terms of the shadows on his face that are cast by his hood, and then the actual texture of his robes. So if we go to the next bit, this is Assassin's Creed 2. Now, I saw this yesterday, and this is an incredible, noticeable change. This bit, this is incredibly noticeable. So basically, as you can see, Ezio is looking a lot better. His AC2 robes are looking a lot better if you compare them to this scene in Assassin's Creed 2, the original one. This whole scene looks a bunch better. The stonework here looks so much better, so much more high res. The textures look so much better. But I want to pay attention to his actual robe. So you can actually see the lines on his robes where it's like been sewn and stuff like that, and then obviously the little shirt that he's got underneath it, you can see how much smoother that looks and how better the shadows look, and then the creases on his actual robes look amazing. Just everything looks a lot cleaner. Think about the Christina memories in Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. The textures here of his robes look better than they did in the Christina memories, and they look really, really good. So this is an incredible noticeable change. AC2 looks a lot different and a lot better in my opinion. I noticed changes in Assassin's Creed 2 ever since I watched the trailer for the first time yesterday, and it is very noticeably different, and I'm very happy with how this bit looks in terms of Ezio's robes, and then obviously the stonework in the background. But then if we go to the next bit, is Assassin's Creed Revelations. Now, when I first watched this trailer, I was like, this does not look different at all, but if you actually compare it to an original screenshot, Assassin's Creed Revelations did look very blurry, and they cleaned it up a lot and got rid of some of the hue and got rid of some of the just blur. Because if you compare it to the original, Ezio's like pauldron here, it kind of like fucking steams off into existence because of how blurry the game used to be, but they've cleaned it up a whole lot, and you can obviously the textures on Ezio's armor looks a lot better, and Yusuf's armor and robes is looking a lot cleaner as well, which is nice to see. The texture changes are definitely seeable. Let's go to the next bit. Just a picture of Ezio. This is, again, you can kind of see the improved textures a bit more now, and you can also see the shadows on Ezio's face. They look a lot better. But then again, Brotherhood tends to not look a lot different, but the textures are there. You can certainly see the texture on Ezio's character model, and maybe even the textures in the background there, because I'm pretty sure that wall looks very good. I'm pretty sure it looks very good. I mean, like, the wall looks pretty damn good in the background, but then again, it is blurred, so we don't get an actual proper look at the textures. But then again, Ezio's character is looking a lot better there. Here we have a screenshot from Assassin's... well, it's not a screenshot, but the bit from Assassin's Creed 2 at the beginning. Now, in my opinion, this does look a lot better than the original because of the higher draw distance and the larger colour palette used. I keep saying I'm pretty sure, I don't know what the fuck I'm going on about. Assassin's Creed 2 is looking a lot better. It's looking so much better. So, it's looking a lot more vibrant, there's a higher draw distance. But my only problem is the textures in the distance have not been upscaled at all. The texture kind of rendering distance hasn't been upscaled at all for Assassin's Creed 2, because as you can see, these buildings here and like just the buildings in the distance look like absolute shit in terms of their textures, whereas the church they're sitting on, textures look a lot better, and obviously just the lighting looks awesome. But I'm talking about the textures right now. The textures of the Arno River right there, it doesn't look too good, and the buildings in the distance don't look awfully great either. So buildings in the distance are still going to have a very shitty texture, which is kind of disappointing. But up close to this church here, kind of the brickwork, it does look a lot better if you compare it to the original. And Florence tends to look more... what the fuck am I on about? That's such weird wording. Florence looks a lot more vibrant and looks a lot more alive, and the shadows and the lighting definitely looks a lot better than it did in the original game. So let's go have a look at the next bit. This bit is Ezio obviously getting his robes for the first time. So something I've noticed is they haven't actually changed the models themselves. They've only changed the texture on the models. The change in texture is definitely seeable on Ezio's bracer there, and like his robes again, obviously, and kind of the shirt bit here. You can definitely see a change in the textures. It looks so much better, and the lighting looks awesome. But they've basically just put new textures on the original models, because as you can see here on his like little, I guess, waistcoat thing that he wears, it's still a very jagged texture. Like, it just kind of suddenly does that. It doesn't look like clothing. So you can tell that they haven't redone the actual physical models, they've just retextured them. But this screenshot again does look very good, and the textures on his bracer here and of his robes, they do look a lot better, and especially on the shirt here, they do look a lot better, and I'm very happy with how this looks. And then again, there's another shot of it, just him putting the robes on. It actually compares with the original. It does look a lot better. Something I've noticed though as well is the hands in AC2 still look like complete shit. The swords don't look too good either, and that's kind of disappointing. But the textures are definitely better on this bit and on his robes, but the hands, they look shit. What you can see is they don't have a new model, but they've definitely been retextured. So it's retextured on the old model, so it looks weird. It looks really odd because his hands are very boxed. They're very boxed and like square, and it just looks a bit odd. Here we've got just kind of them being hung. It's quite self-explanatory really. And then we have Umberto Alberti's face. I can see a clear change in this actually. You can definitely see the wrinkles on his face, and the face textures are a lot better. And obviously there's Ezio's robes again, looking a lot better. Giovanni's face. Here again, you can kind of see the kind of textures here looking a lot better, like as in the fabric definitely looks better. But then kind of like Ezio's face and this guy's hat and stuff like that, they're still very like jagged texture, like jagged models. I mean, like, they didn't redo the models. They kept the exact same ones from Assassin's Creed 2. It's like, could you not have added in a few polygons there to make his hat look round instead of just being a fucking weird hexagon? It's kind of annoying, but yet again, you can see how the textures have been improved for this bit. There's Umberto Alberti's face again. Something that I've noticed is the textures on this bit are definitely better, but again, the model, the overall model of it is still just boxy and doesn't have enough polygons to look like clothing. But the textures definitely looking better. And obviously you've got Rodrigo Borgia there. He looks a lot better too. It seems as if his robes just look a lot more vibrant because the reds kind of come out a lot more in the Ezio collection. Something I've noticed is that the reds come out a lot more. If we go back to Ezio's robes here, you can actually see the red inside of his hood is very, very prominent, and it was not like that in the original. But yeah, Rodrigo's looking a lot more vibrant in terms of his robes there. And this scene in particular does look better in terms of like textures and stuff like that. So you can see Ezio's face is looking a lot better if you can actually compare it to the old one. His face looked very shiny and shit in the old one. Now it kind of looks more like skin opposed to some weird plastic. His robes look better. The buckle there, like the little ropes there, they're not really ropes, they're kind of like strings that are keeping his cape in place, look a lot better. And then one thing that I've noticed is the actual hidden blade. The textures on this have been improved by a fuck ton. Basically, you can actually see the little engravings on the blade here, and in the original game, it was kind of just a blur, and you would be like, are there meant to be engravings there, or is it just a complete blur of just shit? I don't really know. But there's actually engravings on the blade, and you can see them in the remaster, opposed to them just being completely blurred out like in the original game. And then the bracer and the little mechanism there has been retextured, and this whole scene does look very good. And especially if you compare it to the original Assassin's Creed 2, like, it looks kind of good already, it's quite good already, but if you compare it to the original Assassin's Creed 2, you can definitely see a huge change. Just kind of more Ezio stabbing people here. Flying machine, I've noticed that Venice definitely looks good. This screenshot in particular, Venice looks very, very good. Now, like, it kind of reminds me of Havana, how the buildings are, how they're kind of like worn different colors. There's like the yellow buildings and the red buildings, and it just looks very appealing. Like, this bit looks very nice. Maybe because the contrast is so high, I don't really know, but this screenshot in particular looks very good of Ezio and the flying machine. This bit of Ezio talking to Leonardo, basically just retextured everything, really. Because if you compare it to the original, everything looks a lot more blurry and the textures look worse, but everything's been retextured, and it does look a lot better in terms of texture. Now we come on to Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, which is the most disappointing out of the three in my opinion, because there doesn't seem to be an awful change. Now this screenshot here does look one of the best out of the Brotherhood screenshots. You can see here, you can actually see the shadows on his like little collar here look a lot better. The shadows on his face look a lot better. His robes look better. But Assassin's Creed Brotherhood had good textures anyway, so it's kind of hard to tell if they've been upscaled an awful lot, but they definitely do look good regardless. And this screenshot here is also good. I can tell how the lighting has been changed here, because you have all the different candles, and then Machiavelli lighting the fire here, and the lighting has definitely been changed and looks a lot better in the remaster, and this whole scene is just looks really good. Here we have the scene where Ezio's got the apple, obviously. This scene is one of the scenes that looks absolutely identical to the original game. I don't know what the fuck Cloudy is looking at, really. She's just kind of staring off into space. And also, it's nighttime. In the original game, it wasn't nighttime, it was actually daytime. So I don't really know what that was. Was that an attempt at Ubisoft trying to make the game look better and look different to how it actually was? Because there's not an awful lot of noticeable changes here, except for the fact that it looks darker. But maybe the fact that it looks darker is because it's nighttime. Because in Assassin's Creed, when you start a memory, it immediately fast forwards to the specific time that it's meant to be at. So you literally can't play this mission in nighttime in the original game. So maybe that was an attempt by Ubisoft to make it look slightly darker or make it look different somewhat, but they've literally just changed it so it's nighttime. So I don't know what that is really. I really don't know. But Claudia's face is looking really fucked up at this bit. I genuinely don't know what happened. Like, she looks normal there, and then it just fucking changes. Like, she looks like she's got fucking PTSD or some shit. Like, I don't know what happened in terms of her face. Like, everyone looks normal, but then Claudia's like fucking on tripping fucking acid or some shit. And then here you just got a nice shot of Rome. And then you got Cesare. Definitely better textures yet again on Cesare's face and on his armor there. What I noticed they did in the trailer, they kind of did weird things. So they kind of changed what the characters said. I don't remember what Cesare said, but it was like, if I want to, I take. That's what he says in the trailer. The actual quote is, if I want to take, I take, and then obviously he says the rest of it. And they kind of changed it. I just really don't know why. Maybe it's to fit it into like a more concise kind of area, kind of like space more. But then you've got obviously the guys with the guns here. Definitely look better in terms of texture and kind of like the overall hue. Like, it's definitely colored better, but you can see how their armor's been retextured and it looks better. This scene, I actually did have a side-by-side comparison for this on Twitter on the stream yesterday, and it looks completely identical to how it looks in Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. There's literally no change here. This bit definitely looks a lot cleaner, I noticed. Ezio's armor, definitely better textures, you can see him there. And the whole scene just looks a lot better. In terms of Ezio's robes, you can kind of see that it looks like fabric, and it all looks a lot cleaner. Like, everything definitely looks cleaner, but not a huge difference to what I expected. This looks exactly the same, better textures again, there's not much I can really say. This bit was so fucking weird. Now, Machiavelli doesn't even sound like himself, and then for some reason they decided to add in Machiavelli's name. Ezio goes, oh yeah, if you do Machiavelli, make it short, but he goes, if you do Machiavelli, make it short, but he doesn't say Machiavelli in the game. They put it in the trailer, and you can clearly see his lips don't move when he says Machiavelli. I don't know why they decided to add that in. It's kind of like the thing in Assassin's Creed Syndicate and stuff, where they kind of go, oh look, it's Charles Dickens, it's Charles Darwin, look, all these famous people love our game because it's historically accurate, and it's just kind of like, we know it's Machiavelli, you don't need to make Ezio say it in the trailer. For sure, don't do that. You don't need him to do that, and it was kind of an annoying thing. But his Revelations. Now, Revelations is definitely looking awesome in this screenshot. This is a beautiful screenshot. This is kind of captures Revelations as a whole, kind of like the misty, awesome orange hue they've got over it. It does look very nice here. And then you've got Yusuf looking a lot better. Constantinople looking great and very sharp. Ezio here, obviously looking sharp again. Then obviously just another screenshot of that. Ezio here, I noticed this, he's not actually wearing a hood in this bit, which I find a bit odd, because in this bit in the actual game, he was wearing a hood, because as you can see, Yusuf in the background is dead. This is Yusuf's death scene, and he was wearing a hood at this bit in the game, but they decided to make him take his hood down, so maybe that'll be like that in the game, or they just decided to do it for dramatic purposes in the trailer. I really don't know, but the textures definitely look better there. Texture definitely better here on the assassins there. That you can tell how cleaner it looks. This bit looks exactly the same as it did in the original game. It just looks exactly the same. And then we've got this bit. This bit does certainly look different. Definitely, this bit does look different. I've noticed. Better textures. Kind of looks a lot more cinematic if you look at it. And this bit, I saw a side-by-side comparison of him going down the zipline, and it does look a lot cleaner and more cinematic again. This bit looks cleaner too when he's stabbing people. And I noticed the snow in Masyaf looks a lot better as well. The snow definitely looks a fuck ton better. Like, instead of it being like just kind of like weird little blotches, you can kind of see how they're more like clumped together and they kind of fall a lot more naturally. And try and get a better look at them. It just kind of looks more like snow. It looks a lot more like snow. And then obviously this is Ezio killing Leandros here, and the textures do seem to be a lot better. The blood is very vibrant, but seems to look a bit better in the actual game. So that was basically all the screenshots we've got. It comes out November the 15th, as you guys know. Free movie ticket and all that stuff. But yeah, so there's not an awful lot I can really talk about. I'm going to have a few side-by-side comparisons that I kind of missed within the actual video here. And yeah, overall, it's not... It's less than I expected, really. But something that I just want to gloss over is just how much better Assassin's Creed 2 looks. Wait, let me get that screenshot up again. Let me find it of him after he just killed Uberto Alberti. Let me find it. Here it is. His robes look so much better, and this is one thing that makes me incredibly happy. His robes look so awesome, and oh, it does look great. I'm not gonna lie, these do look awesome. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm gonna have some screenshots after I finish talking about side-by-side comparisons and stuff like that. And basically, I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below of the Ezio collection and what you think's been improved. And if you're disappointed with it, or if you're fucking completely hyped for it, and I would appreciate that an awful lot. Hope you guys enjoyed. Be sure to drop a like and a comment, and also subscribe for more Assassin's Creed content in the future. And I will see you guys in the next video, which may be Empire, may be fucking the Ezio collection. Probably the Ezio collection, considering the amount of hype that has been surrounding it recently. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!